You're currently in Sendai. This is technically, I think the first time that you've been in Asia. And one of the things that you kind of did earlier on throughout the course of the episode was you were walking us through when you had a certain agent. So this is now your third agent, I believe, and you wound up in Japan. A lot of times with our overseas guests, it depends on what the agent relationships are and with the clubs and teams and everything like that. So how did you wind up getting to Japan? Because it's kind of I don't want to say an abrupt or change, but it's a change nonetheless.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been a transition for sure. You know, I think teams were contacting my agent to a certain degree, but my coach now coached a guy by the name of Dwayne. Oh, you guys know Dwayne Evans that played at St. Louis, who's been in
Mhm.
Japan now for a while. He coached Dwayne last year, and he asked Dwayne what kind of a player that's kind of similar to you, and Dwayne gave him my name. So the coach contacted me, and we talked a little bit. I think the same Sendai had been talking to my agent as well, and it's not easy to get into
Yeah.
Japan. They don't once you're here, they like keeping the same guys here because especially if they know who you are as a person, they don't want to try and explore new players and potentially have issues or anything like that. So for me to be able to get in here in itself was pretty great. Personally, I think a part of it is we have a time capsule on our careers. We were talking earlier before we started that you're going to feel the age, and there's a point where I'm starting to feel it. I do a pretty good job. I lift 3 times a week, whatever, but can't beat Father Time. So Europe's money is unfortunately slowly going down because of COVID. And this was a great opportunity. I mean, I'm not a guy to brag on my money, but this is the most that I've made in my career. So that's another side of it for me that was like, okay, that's pretty interesting. I mean, hell, Japan, who wouldn't want to go see Japan? You know what I'm saying? I said earlier that a big part of everything for me has been immersing myself in the culture and finding new places and seeing new people. So to have this opportunity, I just thought it was really cool. And it ended up working out. I ended up getting here. The process to get here I was living in Chicago this summer. I had to go to the Japan consulate and do interviews. And I remember I came over here with a stack of paper about this big to give to the border or to the customs control when I got here. They ended up using 3 or 4 papers, but
But you were prepared though.
I was over prepared because they stressed it to us that it can get dicey sometimes. I mean, we had about 15 different checkpoints once we got here that we had to go to, COVID testing and meeting with people, filling out certain things. We had to download apps, put on our phone, because when you first arrive, I had to quarantine in a hotel for 2 weeks. And through this app, they would call you and you would have to show your face. And if you weren't in your room, then I don't know what would happen. You go to Japanese jail, maybe. I'm not sure.
Probably a problem of some sort.
A problem to some degree. So they were very strict about it. And it was a process, but it's been great, man.
So this is kind of the interesting part to me is I think that you are the first person we've ever had on. We're getting close to our 50th episode. First person we've ever actually had on that has been in Japan at the time. We've had some people that have, played there and everything like that. And one of the things that's kind of interesting about Asia is outside of probably China, maybe because they're making a real big commitment to it and everything, but like South Korea, Japan, they pay super duper well. You're going to get to visit a country that's absolutely unique culturally and everything like that. Great stuff to see. Like you said, why would you not want to go to these countries? But the interesting thing is the style of play and, kind of being a little bit closed off it's going to be not as high level as some of the other countries typically. Have you been finding that that's the case, but at the same time, it's obviously a trade-off that you're more than okay with living with?
Yeah, absolutely. That's was the main thing for me. I was so used to in Europe it being more of a team aspect. I mean, it still is a team. I think I'm on a specific team here where it is still a team aspect, but a lot of it falls on the foreigners. It's me and 2 other guys. And I don't know, maybe once or twice in my career have I been like consistently double teamed to where like they're coming to get the ball out of my hands. So that it presents its own challenges in a way that are different than Europe. But overall level of play, of course, Europe is definitely by far better. The domestic guys, there's some good Japanese players, absolutely, but just like size wise, you know, they're just naturally smaller people. But it's been, I think the main thing that I've learned is being precise in my moves and my decision making. You know, Europe, you can kind of move the ball around and, you know, maybe at the end of the clock, you get a high ball screen and, you know, you're in certain positions. It's not like that in Japan. They're more focused on you. And when you do something, you have to understand, like, I'll just give you an example. Say, for example, I set a ball screen, I get a switch and there's a small guard on me. Once I get the ball, I probably have one or two dribbles before someone's coming to get me. That doesn't happen to me in Europe. Usually get to play one-on-one in Europe, you know, when guys are usually my size and so on and so forth. So that aspect has been interesting to get used to, but it's fun, man. There's I would say there's less defense here for sure. So it's kind of fun to kind of get loose and, you know, get some stuff off that you wouldn't usually get off in Europe.
That's a little interesting. The defense, you know, you're saying less defense. I would have actually kind of thought, if I would have had to have guessed, there would have been the attention to detail on that.
Yeah, I mean, attention to detail. Actually, my team, we're a defensive team. Like a lot of our guys are defensive driven. But listen, attention to detail is, this place is number one. It's unlike anything I've ever seen before, and everything that they do. And I think at first it's kind of like, okay, you're overdoing it. And then as I've gone along and I've seen that it's part of their culture, like, damn, I got to respect you. This is unbelievable. I mean, going to the convenience store, you know, America, they're going to throw your shit in the bag and you're going to get it and you're going to go. They're not going to. Here, they are like placing it accordingly, setting things up. I'm like, this place is unbelievable. I have Japanese teammates. First and foremost, every day after practice, they're going to stay and get extra work. It's just mandatory. They don't even think twice about it. And if they set a goal, like say make however many shots, they will not leave the gym until that goal is met.
Man,
Coaches like, we'll be running 5-0. Like we had close contact with COVID this last week. No one had COVID, but we had close contact and they're very strict about it. So we basically had a week off. So we're kind of getting back to the flow of things this week. And we haven't done any plays or anything. And we were running over plays yesterday and coach had us keep going through it because he wanted to be right on point. You know what I mean? So.
Sorry, one of the things that I think you kind of brought up earlier was in the pod where you're talking about, like, you know, you have certain words that are rambling around in your head, you know, a little bit of Spanish, a little bit of Japanese, a little bit of French, and everything. You're saying that so few of your teammates now speak, you know, anything other than Japanese. And with the coaching staff, we've asked this question before of other people, mostly in Europe, where you go to another place and, like, you know, there's pointing, or I can figure out when they're, you know, by the level that they're yelling at me, how happy they are with me, or how just, you know, how much I'm screwing up. But with you in particular, it sounds like this is almost posing a different challenge to you this time around. What's this specific spot like that's been different from some of the other ones where English wasn't necessarily like the first language?
Yeah. Well, the one thing I will say is our coach is half American, half Japanese. So he speaks English, which is very great because that's probably most important, that the coach is able to speak English. But you asked challenges outside of the language barrier. Japan, I think on court, or can it be off court?
Either.
Yeah, I think off court, it's kind of, I mean, it kind of is the language barrier, but like just maneuvering throughout the city, as far as going to like places to eat or grocery store, like ordering things or asking for something extra. That part of it is pretty difficult. But outside of language barrier, you know what? I don't really have many here. This is as far as convenience goes, and them, even though we don't speak the same language, helping you, them helping you with things. It's pretty good, man. They go above and beyond to kind of make the transition easier. It's a safe country. There's no violence. You know, you don't really ever fear for your life or anything like that. So I'm trying to think of something though outside of the language. I don't think there's anything. Maybe I'm just, because of my experience, my tough experiences in Europe, I'm in the honeymoon phase still.
Well, and you could be absolutely quite comfortable where you are too. I mean, that's one of the things that, you know, we were saying off the top. Why it's a destination that you definitely wanted to get to, and you know,
it's been good, man.
If you leave for another country, it would be certain ones that you have in mind. One thing I kind of wanted to address it with you is the, you know, we talked about, you know, that they pay well and everything like that, but what are the perks and the amenities, like, you know, the travel, things like that again differentiate itself from Europe?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, most of the time, most of the teams I've been on in Europe, we're traveling by bus. Here, the beautiful thing about Japan, one of my favorite things about Japan is the Shinkansen, the trains. I mean, I can get to Tokyo in an hour and 15 minutes. And when we travel to games, we usually travel by train. And it's just much more comfortable. You have your own space. You know, you can set your iPad up or do whatever you want to do on the train. That's been really great. Just getting around Sendai, the subway is super convenient. I have a station right below me. It's clean.
Yeah, there are no public trash cans anywhere, are there?
Yo, the first time I got here, I couldn't believe it. Like the first month, 2 months, I would like finish eating something and be looking around. Where are the trash cans? But there's no trash anywhere.
Yeah.
Anywhere. It's unbelievable.
Pack in, pack out. Just like going into the woods.
Seriously, the only place you can, the thing that I have a guy that I play with now, he's been here, I think 9 years. So he knows everything about it. He said, you got to throw your trash away in the convenience stores. That's the only place that they have, you know, consistent trash cans.
Oh, wow.
You know, convenience stores to us, we think at home, like you would never buy food from a convenience store, right? But here is like, you can go grocery shopping at a convenience store. Here, it's amazing. It's high quality food. Everything's fresh, which is really nice because sometimes you don't want to go all the way to the grocery store. You know what I mean? I think team-wise, like athlete-wise as players, they do a really good job of taking care of us. I can think of countless instances in Europe in which my body was killing me and hurting, and we don't really care, big fella. You're gonna have to keep practicing. You know, we're paying you. I don't want to say slave because slave is a very strong word, but you're basically like, it doesn't matter. You're here, we're paying you, you're gonna have to practice. In Japan, if you're not feeling up to par, you just gotta let them know, and it's okay. You know, it's okay. We're not trying to kill you. There's communication between coach and us. There's correlation. It's great in that aspect. Our PR team is absolutely amazing. I'm trying to see if I have something close that I can. Oh, hold on, I got something. Wait. I mean, every game. I mean, Japan's already very quirky, but does that look like someone you guys might know? I mean, they have the gap and everything. Like it's, you know what I mean? It's small stuff like that. And for my family and friends and, you know, to bring stuff like that back home, that's cool. We have, at our games, we have special lunch packages that you can buy from each player. So we get to create what we want people to eat at the games and things like that. You know,
that's pretty really cool.
I think our PR team's better than a lot of teams in Japan, but they're unbelievable, man. I mean, it's the ultimate degree. And we have game sponsors. So say if you lead the team in dunks, they announce the MVP of each game, lead the team in assists and 3-pointers made. So oftentimes I lead the team in assists. And when you get assists, you get free sushi.
Oh,
So I have probably, I think it's close to $100 in free sushi from all the assist things that I've won. And you just take it to a place that sponsors our team, and you give them, they're like coupons, and you take and you get free sushi. I'm like, Europe would never. They would never. So I'm sometimes referred to as sushi boy at practice. Yes,
not a bad
I am
nickname.
sushi boy. Yeah, that's me. I love it.